and welcome to GameRomp Easy Mode, a chill podcast that I make with my husband.
That's me, David.
And I'm your other co-host, Deanna.
Yeah.
So.
What a week, huh?
Yeah, I guess.
Played lots of games.
Did you?
I mostly played.
Because I didn't.
Yeah, I noticed. That's why I'm teasing you about it.
Yeah.
Nah, I just mostly played the, that one Pokemon fan game I talked about last week.
Ashen Front.
Yeah.
Even I remember the name.
It's really good. I really like it.
Now, you said there was how many cases? 20, 30?
I think there's 20 or 22.
And how far are you so far?
I'm on the 5th one, I think.
Oh, damn, that's it?
Yeah, and I've already had like 20 hours into the game.
Wow.
I mean,
they must have been working on this over years, right?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know how many they release at a time, but
It almost sounds like it would be episodic almost.
It kind of does feel that way. There are like clear chapter breaks where the case ends and the new one begins, and there's like little flashes of like how everyone's doing after a certain case. Like, this isn't a huge spoiler, but like in the first case, after you're done, it shows like one of the girls that got fired from her job, so she went to go work at the daycare instead. And it's like, you get like the little, it's very clearly like episodic, where it's like case 3 begins and it shows the title, and then, when it's done it says Finn, but it's still like an open world that you just wander around, so it's not like you're locked into certain areas. You're still in the city. Actually, speaking of which, I think last week I had described that the city was like about the third of the size of like the...
I think that's what you said, yeah.
But that's before I realized that there was a whole other section.
Oh, okay. So maybe it's 2/3? So
at some point they're like, oh, let's go to this other part, and you get in the subway and you get to this other part of the city, and it's basically like twice as big.
Oh, damn.
And considering I'm only like into case 5, I mean, who knows? There might be a whole lot more. So it's plenty big, and it's cool if you're like, like us who live in an urban environment, to have a game set in an urban environment. It's such a nice change of pace, because like this is just what life is for so many people.
Yeah. Now, I'm curious. You say it's vaguely open world, other than like suddenly coming to the second area, but like you can explore.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the cases are still in a particular order.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like half and half.
Yeah, and I mean they lock you off from certain areas, obviously, but I mean open world in the sense of like, just like any other Pokemon game where you have a big world to go out and explore. There are some points where like certain things are locked off because of story reasons, so maybe there's this area that's blocked or for whatever reason. But like, once you've finished something and you're like, say where I am, you can always go back to the other old places to explore and catch up on side quests that you might have missed, and there's a lot of side quests. So yeah. Now,
can the side quests be done during any chapter?
Yeah, I don't think you get locked out. I mean, there are certain points in the story where you might be locked out of something, in the sense of like, oh, and at this point you're actually controlling somebody else and your party is
completely
something
different.
Yeah. Or there was another part where there was like a flashback, and it's like, okay, when you're in the flashback, obviously you can't go do anything, so you have to finish that. But yeah, generally when you're in your regular gameplay with your dude and your party of Pokemon, then you can just usually go anywhere that you need to.
That's cool.
I mean, it's pretty obvious when you're... I thought I was going to be screwed in this. There's this one section I just finished yesterday that, without getting too spoilery, in case anyone wants to play this, and I think if you like Pokemon and you want a different flavor of Pokemon...
Yeah, I should probably get into this too.
It's like, give it a try. It's really good. The music is great, and the story, I'm surprised to say, is actually really engaging and interesting to me.
Now, why would you say you're surprised by that?
Well, for 2 reasons. One, because it's a fan game, so they're not always known to have good stories. But this has a lot of great writing. Like, not only is it interesting and the characters are good, but like, it also can make me laugh at times.
Well, that's always a plus.
And that's always a big thing for me, like when you can combine both. but like they don't do it in a way where it's like, oh, a serious moment is happening when like, so, you know, laughs are happening too. It's just like the side quests and stuff and the random NPCs you stumble upon can be really funny. Like I had told you a while ago about this funny moment with a girl drinking her hot chocolate that really made me laugh. And yeah, I won't say it, it's because it's funny when you see it happen, but there's a lot of little moments with a lot of charm and fun, and I really like it.
So it's like the main cases themselves can be like serious and stuff, and it's the side quests that can kind of interject a little bit of humor throughout.
Yeah, but also
or does humor happen in the main cases too?
In the sense that like some of the characters, because everyone's kind of an adult in this, like, yeah, there can be some jokey moments. Like one of the recurring characters is this like, for the lack of a better word, like street rat, or this kid who, you know, is down on his luck and he's probably getting in with the wrong people. And like all the interactions you have with him are kind of funny. Like, well, most of the time they're funny. Like he'll tease him about like doing stuff that he shouldn't be doing, etc. It's hard to say without like just flat out, you know, telling everything and spoiling it. But yeah, I think there's a lot of characters that are funny. And like another character that's like, another reason that I thought I wouldn't like it too much is that because it is kind of like an urban city thing, there's a lot of like mob stuff. So I was like, oh, okay, great, it's a mafia story. It's like, but it's not like,
you don't get into those too much.
Yeah, I guess maybe because you're playing as like a private eye, a detective, whatever. You're not really in the mafia. It's not like GTA 3, so it's not like, oh great, I gotta go do all this bad stuff. It's more like there's some people doing some bad stuff and you're kind of roiled into it sometimes, in the sense of like, you know, because you're a private eye, sometimes people come, you know, ask you like, hey, can you figure out what's going on with this? And like, oh great, it's these guys again or whatever. But I'm surprised that the story and like the story of the families and everything is actually pretty compelling. Like they did a good job.
Well, that's good. I mean, it's always...
And it's funny because like it's rolled in with the Pokemon world, but like I guess it kind of makes sense in a way. Like I think I mentioned this last time, but like, what if Team Rocket, you know, actually had some political drama and stuff too, you know?
Yeah. Now, the one little question is, okay, it makes sense, obviously, that the story of the humans and they do silly things. Do silly moments ever happen much with the Pokemon themselves? Do they do much of anything? Like, I know when you meet, like, the Meowth and stuff, it's cute, or you come across, like, a Tyrannosaur or whatever the thing is called. And it's like a lost pet.
I mean, it really depends. There's so many moments in the game like that. I'll give you an example. And these are kind of side quests, so they're not like major spoilers or whatever. But one example is, at one point you're in the hospital and there's a guy that comes by and he's like, the Pokemon Center didn't want to fix up my Pokemon, or couldn't fix my Pokemon, or whatever the reason. He's trying to get his Pokemon into the human hospital. And they're like, we don't do Pokemon here. You got to take it to the Pokemon Center. And I guess he's a gangster. He's like, well, you know what? Whatever. I don't care about this thing. I'm just going to leave it here. So you get the option of taking it. And it's really messed up. And yeah, the Pokemon Center isn't helping it because it's too messed up, I guess.
Jeez.
Luckily, you remember that you've talked to this one guy at, there's this biology lab. And he's like, oh yeah, I fixed up this Bidoof. He was really screwed up, but we gave him some spare parts or whatever, like a peg leg or something, right? I don't know. You can't really see the Bidoof. But he's like, if you ever find a Pokemon that's really messed up, bring him to me and we'll see what we can do. So you bring him. I can't
imagine how messed up a Pokemon would be that they can't put it in a Pokeball and do the magic stuff.
It's I forget the name of it. It's a Macargo. It's the, what's that fiery snail Pokemon?
I don't know.
The lava snail. Remember, we just saw a short about him.
Yeah.
It evolves into like a snail with the rock shell. So he's fire rock, right?
Yeah.
Well, apparently this thing's shell was like really just messed up and he doesn't have it anymore. Jeez. So they gave him like a prosthetic shell.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. The Pokemon Center couldn't figure that out?
I mean, in most of the games, the Pokemon Center, you just put it in the little microwave thing and it magically heals. But this
microwave. Put the animal in a microwave and it's healed.
But this thing, like, it needed imagine a turtle who needs a shell completely replaced, right?
Yeah. I mean, I get that. It seems weird, but fair.
So we take him here, and the thing gets a new shell, and it's kind of like filled with water. So now it's a fire water type.
Okay.
I can't remember the name of this Pokemon because
Don't worry, I think I can vaguely visualize it.
the thing is, like, all the Pokemon that you get normally, they all come with names.
Yeah.
Like, your character is a character with his own thoughts and story, and he gave this guy a name. So, oh crap, I actually don't remember the nickname he gave him, which is sad because I use him a lot.
Well, maybe it'll come to you.
So yeah, it has a nickname, and that's why I don't remember the name of the Pokemon. In this game, I've been trying to, like, since he's been giving everything nicknames, anything that I catch, I also try to give a nickname. But, like, half my party is Pokemon I named, and the other half is Pokemon he's named.
Who has the better nicknames?
It depends, I guess. Like, there was this another side quest where there was this monster in the sewers, and we were trying to figure out what it was. And of course, it's a Pokemon, right? Yeah. It turned out to be like an Aerodactyl, but, like, I guess the gangsters were trying to revive the Aerodactyl without going to the, how you normally go to the scientist to revive the fossils. Yeah. They didn't do a good job, so it's kind of it looks like an undead Aerodactyl, basically. Oh, poor But guy. It's funny because when we were, like, down there doing the quest, like, you have your little Swinub. Hmm. And he's like, he helps the detective by being like a sniffer dog. Yeah. So you're using him in the dark to find where this thing goes, and you're chasing it down. And then, like, at the final part, like, you're telling your son, I'm like, oh, good job, Truffles. Its name is Truffles. No. So you're, like, scratching him and giving scritches, and then this monster is like, oh, you want scritches too? Okay. So you start scritching the monster, and it turns out to be the Aerodactyl, and, like, he names it Rocky Road.
Oh, that's cute.
So, like, okay, I'm using Rocky Road. It's an Aerodactyl. It's part rock, part ghost. It's not part flying.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
It's a unique variant of Aerodactyl. Yeah. And there's a lot of unique variants like that. Like, my Macargo is a unique variant where he's, like, part fire, part water instead of fire rock. Mm. I think that's what it is originally in the original games. And another version is Trubbish. Yeah. I've actually been using a regular Trubbish because, I don't know, I find Trubbish funny. And
it's cute in its own weird... trashy way.
It has, like, toxic and the toxic spikes, which is easy to, like, oh, I'm just gonna put toxic on everything, and he's very tanky. Oh yeah. So it's an interesting approach. Well, there was another side quest where, like, this one gangster was like, I guess, I don't know, he was pissed off at his Trubbish, and he, like, you run into him in the back alley, and he's like, stay in there, you little dumb whatever, and
piece of trash.
Yeah, and he's like, you open up the trash, and it's just this Trubbish, and I guess he's removed his trash bag. Oh. So I don't know if that counts as de-skinning a Trubbish or whatever, but, like...
maybe it's more like he's a toddler and he keeps taking his clothes off.
So you got, like, this quote-unquote naked Trubbish, but, like, he's, instead of using a trash bag, he's using this, like, recycling bin. Aww. So imagine a Trubbish instead of a trash bag, he's in a recycling bin. Right. But that changed his type, so now I guess because he's in this little steel recycling bin, he's a steel type.
Oh my god. Like, I don't know, it's weird that the types are changing. Like, I guess it's just...
it's a unique variant. Imagine the Alola Diglett is a water type.
No, I know, but I mean, like... thinking that this Trubbish taking off its trash bag and going into a recycling bin is somehow changing its DNA. Like, I feel like the type would be connected to its actual DNA or something. But I guess not.
I don't know. I wouldn't think about it too hard. It's just...
I mean, fine.
It's just like any of the other regional variants. It's just a variant, except it has a little story to it.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. I won't argue it.
But yeah, I'm glad I found that Trubbish, even though I already had a Trubbish. Because he's really tanky, and he...
does he have a name?
Yes.
Because I want to go with Oscar.
It's one of those that he named himself, and oh man, I don't remember. Wow, my memory is getting bad. I don't remember what he called it. I think it was something cute, like Bubbles or something.
Oscar the Grouch.
Popcorn. I don't know.
You should write these things down.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
You know what? Why don't we we'll cut this part out where I'm saying this, but let me pause real quick and I'll look. Okay. It's only going to take like a minute. Okay, so I double checked. The Trubbish is named Pudding. and the Macargo thing is called Funnel Cake. And these are just the names that he gave him. Come to think of it, he gave the Aerodactyl the name Rocky Road and his swinub Truffles. It's very food-oriented.
I suppose. Rocky Road makes sense because the Aerodactyl's kind of stony rocky. I get that. Snuffle or Truffles makes sense because, well, it's like a sniffing dog, a sniffing pig, and that's what they are used for finding. Pudding doesn't really make sense for the Trubbish, though. Not in my mind, but I guess if he's food-oriented.
He kind of looks like a pile of garbage pudding when he's naked.
I guess.
But I mean, even imagine Truffles, yeah.
I was just thinking, like, Oscar the Roush, because he's in the can.
Well, maybe Sesame Street doesn't exist in this world.
I guess.
Anyway, I was glad I found that Trubbish, who's surprisingly even tankier than my other one because of the typing.
Yeah, steel is ridiculous.
Because I had come up to a boss that was really hard, and I thought, like, oh god, am I going to be able to do this? For a while there, I thought, well, I guess this is as far as I'm going to play, because I don't know. I think I fought the boss like 3 times and just could not beat him.
Oh, damn.
It's a double battle with, I don't know the name of the Pokemon. It's from one of the games I've never played. But it basically looks like a whale, a blue whale. It's not Whalmer. And then this little red fishy looking thing. And like, I guess when you use them together, the fish goes inside the whale and like powers him up a lot. Oh, damn. Because it's a double battle.
Is it Wishy Washy? No, that's the one that makes a school with itself.
No, it's not that one. But yeah, that whale was just like one-shotting everything.
Holy shit.
It was just, I did not know. So I luckily, as you're adventuring, like I said, you find these other Pokemon, like this Trubbish and the Aerodactyl, like, and they're all leveled to appropriately to where you are in the story. So I like change up my party and was able to somehow beat him. I was planning on using a Drifloon I had found, because I found a Drifloon in this area and he was high level. I'm like, oh, I'll use his Destiny Bond, so I'll just let him kill my Drifloon and that'll kill him, because that thing is tanky and hits really hard. I screwed that up. That didn't work out, but I was able to cause burn on this whale, which lowered its attack, and the Trubbish was steel type against his water, so it was able to just slowly whittle it down, and I was finally able to beat it.
Damn.
This game is surprisingly hard. Like, you have to think...
Even though you picked easy mode.
Yeah, even though I'm on easy mode. So I can't imagine if you're like some super Pokemon nerd that really likes to min-max your stuff. Like, you could play on normal or hard and like be really challenged by it. But like, I don't know. I just find the world and the characters that you're interacting with interesting. Because like, there's no like gym battles. You're not worried about that kind of thing. You're not a kid on an adventure. You're just a detective, you know, existing in the city, and you still get challenged by random people in the streets sometimes. And sometimes you get challenged by the, you know, the mobsters or whatever that you're going up against. And like,
makes sense.
It's funny because like at first you think like, oh, this is dumb. Why don't they just use guns and stuff? But I mean, I guess if you, in one of the story parts, like you're fighting against this other mobster and like it's a double battle. And like if his 2 Pokemon are downed, well, I mean, weapons or not, he probably is not going to want to try to fight against somebody that has 2 Pokemon that could technically beat him up, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny too, because like the game will throw in little curveballs at you. Like one time there was a gangster I was fighting and he's like, oh god, I don't want to do this anymore. He had a very tanky Pokemon, an Umbreon that had like very defensive skills. And I'm just like, oh god, this is going to take forever. And at some point, even he was like, you know what? I'm tired of this. I don't want to do this. Why am I even fighting you? And my guy was like, you're the one who attacked me. He's like, do you want to just stop? Okay. So we just stopped. It was funny. And there was another time where I was fighting this other gangster. And I don't remember if he was drunk or something, but he had like a weapon in his hand. And he just straight up attacked my Pokemon and did like an extra attack on it.
Oh, shit.
And it's like, oh, okay. I mean, it makes sense that in this world, some people would just do stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, why not? But
it's just funny little curveballs that they throw at you. I don't know. It's really good. I find it fun.
Clearly can't say enough.
Yeah, and the story is good, and the characters are good, and the music is good. It's just, this has probably been like my favorite Pokemon experience in a long time.
Well, that's good. And you got like so much more to go through.
Yeah, and like I've been wanting to play the other fan games too, and I have played I think like 5 or so other ones. But like this Ashen Frost has definitely been the best in my opinion. Like it's amazing. if you want Pokemon that's just a little bit different, it's really good. I want to try some other fan games, but like at the same time, I think I'm just going to keep playing this one. So, yeah.
Well, maybe you can update us in a couple of further podcasts.
Yeah, I'm trying my best to not be spoiler because I think the story is really interesting and some of the things that they do. So, yeah. Play it, I guess. It's free. That's another thing. Like, I'm just being frugal over here playing free games.
Yeah, that's fair.
Anyway.
Well, speaking of a free game, or at least we got it for free because it was on the Epic store for free. The Rugrats game. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Oh, yeah.
Because we played that a little bit, but, you know, our last episode was more about
we forgot
topical
to talk about
news,
it.
So.
Do
you want to say anything about it?
Well, it was free on Epic. I guess it's not free on other platforms, so I feel bad for anybody that bought it.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It's not, like, terrible. It's just, I wouldn't pay for it. If I didn't get it free on Epic, it's like, I'd be sad that I spent money on it.
Do you remember how much the other platforms were charging? Was it 30?
I think it was like 25.
25, even still. Oof.
Yeah.
It's weird because the art, for one, is fantastic. Whether you play in the HD mode or the 8-bit mode, I think both of them are really good.
Yeah, I mean, the HD mode looks really good, but I think the 8-bit mode is better. Not only does it look good, but it's also, you see more on the screen. It's like it fits on the screen better.
Yeah, that's fair. The HD is kind of, the ratio seems off.
Yeah, like sometimes there's like blind leaps of faith you make in the HD one that you don't have to make in the 8-bit one because everything fits on the screen properly.
Yeah, so they did goof that up a little bit, technically.
Yeah.
But the art is good. The music is, it's hard. The music during the actual stages themselves is kind of like hit or miss. It's whatever. I don't think they're super long, so they loop quite a bit.
I agree. I don't like the music in this. Even the 8-bit, like, it doesn't sound like the kind of NES music that I like. It sounds more...
There's supposed to be a difference between the 8-bit music and the HD, but it doesn't seem like that much of a jump. Whereas the jump in graphical is definitely there.
Yeah.
But every time you start a new stage, they do have the Rugrats episode music.
Yeah.
Like the title
screen thing,
music.
yeah.
And that's really good. That was obviously... the art looks like it's out of the cartoon. The music sounds, or at least in the title screen, sounds like it's out of the cartoon. So that's great.
I think they're kind of going for the whole Mega Man thing, like, because you have the stage select, just like you do in Mega Man. You pick your stage, and then you get the little, thing, where it's like in Mega Man, it's like, and it shows the boss. And this one, it just shows, like, the name of the stage. And it's like... I don't know. It's not as charming. It kind of gets old, especially after you played the game for a while. Because, okay, I beat all the levels, but I didn't get all the coins.
Right.
And you can't beat the game if you don't get all the coins. So it's like, oh, great. I beat all these stages. I have to go back and replay them now because I have to find these, like, hidden coins. So I got to sit through all that stuff again. And it's just like, I went through one of the stages where I missed, I think, 2 coins, and I found 1. And I'm just like, do I really want to replay this stage again to find the 1 coin? And that's when I decided I just don't want to play this game anymore.
Fair. And the first time we booted this up, we actually did try to play together because it has the co-op mode. That was not a fun experience.
No, they don't do the co-op good in this. Like, you're playing at the same time, but it's not smart about it. Like the Mario games, for example, where if like somebody dies or somebody falls down, they turn into a bubble and like
they get kind of like transported near the player.
Yeah, whereas this one, if somebody dies or falls or whatever, everyone gets punished.
Yeah.
Where it should be the other way around, where like the player that's doing really good shouldn't be punished for the player that's doing bad. They should be carried. I think that's just better, in my opinion.
And especially because, like, okay, normal mode in this game is called Baby because, it's Rugrats. But I don't know if it changes on easy mode, but yeah, Baby mode you think would be like, well, we're going to carry you, so that makes sense. I
didn't even think about the difficulty settings, to be honest. I forgot about those.
Yeah, I don't remember what the other two are called, but I'm pretty sure normal is just Baby. But the other thing is, the screen is so incredibly small, like... It doesn't go much further than my actual screen. And my screen is like the 1080.
1080p, yeah.
Yeah. And it scrolls a little bit depending on the room, but they're not that big. And I think the problem was I kept getting disoriented while playing this co-op because every time you went to a new screen, it just went to that and I was like all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
It was very disorienting.
It has the old school kind of scrolling where like you get to the edge of the screen and it just like scrolls all the way to the new screen. It doesn't have smooth scrolling, which is, I mean, a lot of old NES games even back then did have scrolling screens, so I don't know why they decided to do it that way.
I feel like, okay, I've only done very beginner shit with programming, but I feel like this game, considering it's a Rugrats licensed game, I feel like the quality of life here is severely lacking for a game that they're charging $25 for.
It's tough because, like, part of it's like how you're tuning your difficulty here, too. I mean, when I played by myself, I felt like the difficulty was fine. There were some parts where it was a little bit harder than others, but I got through most of the game fine. I wouldn't say it's like throwing my controller in rage. It's not as hard as Mega Man or whatever. It's very clearly based off of Super Mario Brothers 2 for the NES.
You were picking up that instantly. I wasn't paying attention to that too much.
Literally, Tommy is Mario. Chucky is Luigi with his fluttery high jump. Lil is Peach with her floaty jump. And Phil is Toad with his super fast picking up of stuff. It is literally Mario 2. There's even a stage in the desert where you're digging through the sand, just like in Mario 2. Like, it is...
Yeah, and you pick up the downed enemies just like it, too.
Yeah.
Or the blocks.
And that's great. I mean, that's probably my favorite aspect of this game. It's like, oh, Mario 2 is a great game. Let's make more Mario 2, except it's Rugrats. And I was like, okay, sure, that's great.
It's funny because Mario 2 itself is literally just a reskin of Doki Doki Panic, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then this is... basically a reskin of Mario 2. So it's like reskins the all the way down?
No, you can't call it a reskin because all the levels are different. There is one desert level where there's like the digging of sand.
It's reskinning the characters then? Wasn't there other stuff in the level?
It's like inspired by.
Okay, fine.
But yeah, in the desert area, there is even those little snakes. In Mario 2, you got the little red snakes that look like they're in like an S shape and they jump in and out of the ground and shoot bullets at you. This has exactly that, except they're green. But they still jump out of the sand, and they're still in that silly little S shape, and they still shoot out bullets. It's funny. It's good. That stage really tickled me, even though the boss was kind of annoying. But yeah, like, I think the problem is that they kind of mixing that with like the Mega Man thing, where like you're choosing levels and you have to fight the boss at the end, and some of the other levels are not as good. Like the Dream level, especially, I found to be really bad.
I did actually manage to finish that one today. I played for 20 minutes and managed to beat 2 stages. So I guess each stage is about 10 minutes if you manage to get through pretty quickly. And this is going to be a me thing, as usual. But I remember trying to play this after we attempted the co-op, and that was just not working out well for us.
Yeah, you got frustrated.
I'm sorry, the disorientation was not fun. But when I tried playing by myself afterwards, I was having a hard time even getting through the basic levels. And I don't know why, but...
You chose the Dream level. The Dream level is the hardest one.
Okay, I suppose that didn't help. And I guess I don't know, something changed between then and here, because today, before recording this podcast, I also played the Dream level, although albeit the second stage I attempted. And while it was slightly confusing because of the doors and going in and backtracking a little bit, I beat it perfectly fine. And I don't understand for myself why I was having so much trouble that one day, and then today I seem to be perfectly fine. Like, I lost 1 life, I think. I messed up on Tommy.
I think part of it is just simply not starting with the hardest level, because you get into the swing of things.
I suppose.
That's why good game design starts you with easy levels. As you get used to the controls, become more comfortable with them, you can take on harder challenges.
I suppose.
That's
Also, I think the other thing was learning how to jump on things that make you jump higher.
that's the gimmick of the dream level. Yeah, you got those weird bottle things, and you have to like time it perfectly.
Well, that's the thing. That's what screwed me up the first time. I was trying to jump on it and then hit the jump button at the right time. But by pure dumb luck, I guess this time, I learned that if you jump and then butt slam before hitting it, you know that it's going to go, and it just works. So
I don't remember that.
that certainly helped. And I managed to beat the gorilla boss and the sippy cup from Dreamland.
Yeah.
And another thing that I really do enjoy as far as a nostalgia factor is that, the Dreamland is based off that really crazy, was it like season 1 episode?
Yeah.
Like, it was a crazy art in the beginning before they went to Flash or whatever they use for animation. And whether you pick the HD or the 8-bit, there's still side screen images that come up because they only use so much of the screen. And it has...
The HD version doesn't need that because it's stretched out all the way, yeah.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Because, in the Dream... When you're playing the 8-bit, the Dreamland is kind of like... It's got like a black sky, right?
Yeah.
But if you're playing it in HD, it looks like the things on the side. So it's colorful in the background.
Okay.
Which is not as...
Well, I was
doesn't look
playing
as
the
good, in my
8-bit.
opinion.
I was playing the 8-bit today, and the side borders, whatever you want to call it, had like Stu as his moon version
Yeah.
in this thing, and I don't know if they had Dee Dee or not. I somehow I just looked at the Stu moon and I was like, oh my god, I remember that. And then
If you would have played that stage in HD, Stu and Drew and all those characters in the background as those. Yeah.
oh shit, maybe I'll try and play it again just to see.
You see, that's the thing. When I was playing the game with you, you would get frustrated because I would keep switching back and forth between HD
Oh my god, yes.
and 8-bit.
Jesus.
But I wanted to see those differences.
No, I know. It was just, God, you were just doing it all the time. It was like, please just stick with one thing so we could play the game.
But see, then you don't do it and you miss out on those little details.
Okay, fine. But we could have played it like play a stage in 8-bit and then play the stage in HD, whatever.
I'm sorry, the game was not fun enough for me to want to replay the stages.
Okay, well, I'll have differences with that.
Yeah, clearly.
One of the other stages that I didn't play today, but I see the icon because the boss character is, it was Angelica's big baby brother.
Yeah.
And it was like that episode was freaky as hell too.
That was from the that's the desert stage, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I played one of the stages.
Man.
I forget which one it was, but it had the purple monkey, but I don't remember an episode.
I don't remember the monkey either, no.
I wonder if that was a later season or not.
Because, all of these were, like, from the original season. Because you have the weird Angelica's, like, baby brother thing. That never happened, right?
Yeah.
Then you have the sippy cup from the Dream.
Yeah, I remember. I know the Dream episode is pretty much season 1.
Then you have Boppo.
Boppo.
Hi, I'm Boppo. He's one of
Yeah.
the bosses.
That
And then,
had crazy art, so I want to say it's one of the early seasons, if not the first season.
and then the other one of the other ones was the Care Bears. I don't remember what they're called in the Rugrats universe, but the one where they went to the movie theater to watch the Care Bear movie, right? And everyone was crying. So they're one of the bosses. And then there's the monkey. I don't remember the monkey.
I'll have to look that up. Maybe, I don't know. Because I remember a lot of episodes. Goodness knows I watched a lot of Rugrats as a kid.
Yeah.
And they were always replaying, so I don't know. I'll look that up later. But as a free game, it's fine. As a $22 game, I don't think I would recommend it. It's just, there's certain things that it's just not as polished as you would hope it would be, in my opinion. And even when it came to you switching between HD and 8-bit, I kind of wish... I know they're giving you the option to choose the graphics and the sound, but I kind of wish they would just do both at the same time. That would have been half.
Yeah. You have to unpause it to switch the music and then unpause it to switch the visuals. It's not seamless.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's one of those things where, like, thankfully we didn't pay anything because it was on Epic, and thank freaking God for that. Like, this could be This podcast could be half about just being a frugal gamer and playing all these free games, because I swear I haven't paid much for games in a while. Between Genshin, Fallout 76, all these fan games, games on Epic.
There are gonna be a couple of games in the future I'm gonna be playing because they are currently and in the future will be free on Epic. So
yeah, like the next one is we had got the I don't remember the name of it, but it's that black and white game where he like takes pictures or something.
Oh, Toem, I think.
Yeah, I know you've played the demo of that, and like, well, it's free. I'm gonna get it. I'll see too. Then there's the rat game, which I don't remember the name of either.
Spirit and the Rat or something like that.
And you're like controlling this little rat, and it's not like a Mickey Mouse. It's just straight up a rat running around on all fours, and it's really cute.
Yeah, and if you go to the store page on the Epic, I think it says something about like bring happiness to others or something. I'm like, oh shit, yes.
Yeah, and it's free currently. As of the time that this podcast episode goes out, it might be free for a couple more days.
Do you know when they change over?
I think they change over on Wednesday.
Okay, so...
Wednesday or Tuesday. So yeah, when this podcast comes out, if you hear it like right away, then it's still free on Epic and might as well get it. Then next week will be...
Beer and Breakfast.
Yeah.
Which I also played the demo of for. And I think it was pretty cute.
Yeah.
I don't know if, you're not going to want to play it, but...
I mean, I'll get it. Maybe I'll play it at some point, but we'll see. Yeah, I love Epic. I don't care what people say, like they're scummy or not, or all these corporations, they're not our buddies. So just take advantage of what you can to save yourself some money and enjoy free games, because...
Agreed.
I don't know. Maybe that's just me being frugal. We live a very frugal lifestyle in general.
Yeah, that's fair. The only thing I keep forgetting, when Epic gives a game away for free, for every time someone downloads the free game, are they paying the developer? Or at least partial?
I don't know the exact details of the deals they make.
Because that's all I care about. I don't care that I'm getting a free game from a corporation. I just hope that the developers
The devs have to agree to it, yes. And they get payments. I don't know if it's a flat rate or per download. You'd have to look into that. I think they're very tight-lipped about that kind of thing.
Yeah, I guess.
So, who knows? But, I mean, I can't blame somebody for taking a big old lump sum from a big corporation like Epic and being like, yeah.
Especially, like, I know for Bear and Breakfast, it's been out for a while. So, I'm sure their surge of people buying the game when it was new and people supporting them in that way has already been done. So if Epic picks them up after the slump, then I guess that makes sense. And
like the Rugrats game was basically brand new. So that's interesting too, that they're like, yeah, we'll put your game on here.
I mean, seeing the quality, I can kind of understand, but
then there's also like, I know people don't like exclusives or whatever, but one of the exclusives way back in the day that I bought on Epic was Rebel Galaxy Outlaw. It's the sequel to Rebel Galaxy, which is like, you're a dude in a spaceship and, doing space stuff. You can like do trading, you can do hunt pirates. It's kind of open about it. And the sequel was more about like dogfighting, whereas the first one was more like capital ships where you would like shoot from the side.
Okay.
The sequel is basically more like you can dogfight and fly more freely, and it's really good, right? But people were sad. It's like, oh, this is going to be Epic exclusive. But like, Epic gave them a lot of money, so I am never going to blame somebody from trying to earn some money in this shitty economy. It's tough out there. It's tough for us. Yeah. So if somebody wants to make a little money and, oh no, you're going to have to download a game from a different place, like, I don't care.
I mean, Sony's been pulling that shit for a while. They're still not giving people Bloodborne on PC, so.
Well, that one is complicated. But for Sony, like, I think they do it in an annoying way, whereas like you're on Steam, but you still have to log into this other dumb shit.
Yeah.
That is bad. I don't like that. I mean, ultimately, if you want to play these games, then I guess you have to decide if making an account is going to be like some game-breaking deal breaker for you. But at least for Epic, like you're using their shit already anyways. It's not like you're logging into 3 different things at once just to play a game. You're just booting up this launcher and playing the game. Back in the day, back when Epic was new and their launcher was so minimalistic, a lot of people complain like, oh no, there's no achievements, no friends list, all this stuff, boo-hoo. And to me, that was like the biggest selling point, because I could just boot my game straight from the desktop. I didn't have to worry about a launcher. I didn't have to worry about achievements. It was so good. One day, Steam added achievements, and now it's incredibly annoying. I hate the achievements.
Oh, you mean Epic?
Yeah, what did I say?
You said Steam.
Steam has had achievements. The thing about Steam, though, at least you can turn off the notifications. Because I'm going to be honest, I don't give a single shit about achievements.
That's fair. I
This
know
is
you're a
me.
contrarian.
I'm an old fart. I've been playing games since, like, the Atari and NES days. The achievement was, beating the boss, beating the game. You made your own achievements. Now, like, somebody sits in an office thinking up, you have to collect 100 hats to get these 10 good boy points for collecting hats. And
Boy, we're back to good boy points.
And like, there's just a list. Like, it's just somebody sitting down thinking, oh god, I gotta make these lists. Like, okay, beat the game.
Start the game.
Collect all the hats.
I think the thing for me is that, at least on Steam, I haven't bothered to take off the achievement thing because it doesn't bother me. And it's just a little tiny thing in the corner. I did notice, and you brought this up for yourself, that you hate the Epic Game Store achievements when they come up.
Yeah, they're worse.
It's bigger, it comes down from the top and stuff like that.
And it makes a noise. It makes a really loud, obnoxious noise.
Yeah, that's fair.
So imagine, like, when you're playing something like Death Stranding, and you're in, like, this cutscene, and, like, you're learning about Lou and his father and all this stuff, and you're just, like, watching this cutscene, and suddenly, blink, blink, and this freaking achievement pops up. It's so annoying. It is seriously infuriating to me.
Yeah, I notice how excited you're getting right now.
And it's like, I think the only way to turn those off is, like, you go into the settings to, like, turn on, like, do not disturb mode or something. But it's not, like, obvious, right? There should be an option to go into just achievements, turn off achievements, because I don't want to see them. I don't care about them. I don't care that somebody sat down and is like, oh, you beat the sippy cup level. Dunk, dunk, here's your achievement. Like, I don't care. I beat it. I saw Tommy throw up.
I know what I achieved.
I saw Tommy throw up his little peace sign, and that's the achievement. I don't need this little icon and noise. It's yeah, serenity now. Anyway.
Is there anything you look forward to playing? Because I'll just interject here. I saw that, so there's a few games that I still follow on the Steam store, and the updates will come up, like, when I go into my Steam library, and it'll have updates along the top or whatever. And I noticed that American, and technically I also follow Euro Truck Simulator, both versions are going to get, in their next update, a Driver Academy. I know this is probably going to sound silly to most people. It's just a simulation game of driving trucks and making deliveries. But oh my god, I cannot fucking wait for this update. Because it's just, yes, I can get the basic understanding of controlling the truck and making sure it's not going too fast, to not tip it over.
Is this like a tutorial that they're adding?
I think it's a whole new section.
So it's not just a tutorial.
No, it feels and sounds like it's gonna take you through, hopefully, the training that an actual, like, person would have to take to get their CDL license.
You know what? That's interesting. If you don't mind me interjecting for just 1 second, this reminds me of Gran Turismo. For people who haven't played Gran Turismo, back in the PlayStation days, Gran Turismo made waves because it was a realistic driving sim racer.
Is this the game that had the tutorial that takes place in a parking garage?
No, that's Driver. Okay. And that was like a mafioso game. And that was really hard. But in Gran Turismo, you would have to get your license for racing. So if you're like, you want to race in Class B races, you have to get your Class B license. And it would be simple stuff like accelerate and get to this endpoint by a certain time. Or drive and brake at this certain point. Or like go through this course and beat it at this, It would almost be like taking a test to get your licenses to, race in these things. So I thought, like, maybe it's not quite a tutorial, but it made me think, when you're describing this thing for American Truck Simulator, like, at first I thought, oh, it's a tutorial, because the tutorial in this game originally sucks.
Yeah, the tutorial doesn't make sense, and even if you say you don't want to, it does it for you anyways.
So I thought maybe this would be a new tutorial. That would be great. But it's like, wait, why would you be excited for a tutorial? So I don't know. I guess we'll see. Sorry.
See, the thing I think for me is that I'm playing a simulation game. I want to simulate it. And driving a truck is a pretty big thing. You know, it's not just like, even for a car, you have to take at least a driving test. And again, I know the basics of some things, but if I can take an actual like CDL license test and I have to, you know, take the truck and pull ahead and make sure you stop within the cones. You take the truck and you make this specific turn, or you make a 3-point turn with a trailer. Like, I don't know. There's just something that excites me about having to take the test and learning all the intricacies of how a truck works. And I did try to read through the whole update announcement that they put. I'm probably not going to remember most of it, and a lot of it was just pictures of like seeing the UI and how it's going to look in game and stuff like that. But they did mention how they were happy, and I guess you could say proud, appreciative, whichever, that a lot of people that have started playing this game have actually gone in real life to take a CDL license test and actually start driving trucks. And they're like, holy shit, that's amazing. And they get really realistic. Like, as far as simulation games, this is top tier shit. They go around the world and they will talk with, say, the Mercedes truck builders, and they get up and close and they see how the truck and the engine looks, and the recordings that they take are actually from the trucks. You know, they model this shit like very high precision, like probably what I assume Microsoft Flight Simulator does with all their things. They really get into this. This isn't just like off-brand whatever, it's a truck. I mean, fucking even GTA only does the bottom of the cars look like Hot Wheels, you know?
Yeah, they don't try to make it too realistic as far as the cars go, because they don't have permission to use the licensings for the cars. So
yeah.
They have to be vague.
The studio that makes American and Euro Truck Simulator, I think it's called SCS, they have the licenses for all these trucks, and they can, I don't know how they work with the trucking companies to get things as close as they can. And they'll have updates about going around the world and seeing these truck companies, and also going around the world. You know, when they went over and they started American Truck Simulator, they went to California and got shots of the streets and the buildings, and they're just really fucking good at this. And like paying for all their, you know, expansion packs, I guess, to add one state, because right now they started on the West Coast and they're slowly making their way to the East Coast. Yeah. When it gets to the smaller states like here in New England, I'm kind of hoping that they'll just like make New England as an expansion in itself.
I hope so too, yeah.
But as far as the large states over on the West Coast, I'm okay with, you know, having to buy an expansion at even just $10 or something for just one state, because it's not a 1-to-1 scale. I think it's like 1 to 10 or something, but they still put so much effort into this shit that it's totally
and it looks
worthwhile.
Really good too, like just driving around and just enjoying the sights.
Yeah. And they started with California, so that was the base game, and they added some states, and I forget if it was Arizona or New Mexico, or one of those was actually a free update with California. It just came at a later time because they wanted to make it good. And when they went through the states, you know, after maybe 4 or 5 states, they actually went back to the California one and updated it for free. So like they're just continuously updating. Even with Euro Truck Simulator, I know there's a few expansion packs that I haven't bought, and I haven't played that for a while. Now that I have American Truck Simulator, I know more how the road rules work, so it's more comfortable for me. Yeah. But they still have updates over there. When I was playing, they were updating Germany, and it's just, I don't know. I I don't see all these expansions as bad as, say, the Sim expansions or what was the other one? The Railroad game. I know a lot of people are like, holy shit, this game costs like $2,000, but like you're only buying the routes you want to actually play.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
You could say the same for this. You're only buying the states you want to play through.
I suppose, and like, yeah, I wouldn't know how. If you got like California and Washington and Oregon, but then you skip the states in the middle and then bought the states on the other side. I don't know exactly how that would work.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
But aside from that, I was just like, I don't know. I fucking love this game, so whatever.
It's good. I mean, I like it too. Yeah, it's a great podcast game too.
Yeah. Like just playing the game, listening to music as if you were an actual trucker or listening to a podcast while you play.
Yeah. Very relaxing.
It's good. If you want to try a good simulator game, this is the best one you're going to get, other than maybe like Microsoft Flight Simulator.
It's a different flavor, yeah. Microsoft, at least with American Truck Simulator and Euro Truck Simulator, you have like progression systems, so like you have a reason to play.
Well, yeah, that's true. I just mean in the quality of their approximation of the world, how detailed they get with the trucks. Whereas like other simulator games I have tried, and they're not good. And there's a bunch of ones that come out that are like asset flips.
Yeah, it can be seen as sort of a joke genre, or like a genre where people just like, we're going to throw the word simulator on it because it's going to sell if we do that, and then they just make something half-assed and it's just looks like crap. Yeah. This one is a good one. And I have tried
the Bus Simulator series too, and I would probably just have to get used to it, but I didn't like how that played out. And I don't know, Truck Simulator is just so much better.
Yeah, it really is. I like, I've tried to find that same sort of fun and flavor in like space games. Like I had mentioned Rebel Galaxy a minute ago, and like you can kind of be a space trucker in that.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it's like, except it's more like, instead of like, oh, I have to deliver this for this person, which you can do, you can also just play like the market's commodity. Like this system is in real need of, I don't know, steel widgets, but this place is selling steel widgets at really low prices, and like you could just play the market that way. But like it never really hits that same kind of itch that American Truck Simulator does. There's just something about it. Maybe it's because it's more chill.
Maybe. Like I can take a truck. I don't have to worry about getting shot down or some shit.
Yeah, true.
There's no combat in this game. The worst you'll get is like the police sometimes. Like I feel, that's a thing. When I was playing Euro Truck Simulator, and it might happen in American too, I'm not entirely sure, but there would be parts where I'm on this road and suddenly it says, oh, the sign on the side of the road says it's, I don't know, 10 kilometers faster. So I'm like, okay, I can increase. But then I would get like a penalty. So I'm thinking in Euro Truck Simulator that the speed increase must have been like for the cars, whereas the trucks are in theory held to a slower speed. Like I know, and that's the thing where I wanted to play American Trucker instead because it's more comfortable for me. But when you're playing in California, at least when it has the speed signs, the top speed will be for the cars, and say the cars can go 75. But it'll have a sign underneath that says trucks are limited to 55 throughout all of California state. So that made sense. Like, okay, I know I'm set to this standard. But over in the Euro Trucker, when I did play, it didn't have that. It just had one speed, so I thought I could go it, but I couldn't, and then I get a fine.
I would always just follow the speed limit on the UI.
Yeah, that's the thing. And like when I play, I try to some degree make it as realistic as I can, or that I feel comfortable with. So I usually play without the UI.
Oh, okay.
I will use the mirrors as they are set up on the truck.
That sounds so annoying without VR.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, some things are easier sometimes. I might have the one mirror on the other side. It depends. But I did technically have a mod that uses the webcam to try and figure out your face position without having to use VR. That worked a little bit. I don't know if it's my webcam because it's like 720 only.
I mean, I get it though. Some games are just nicer to play with less UI. Like I know for Breath of the Wild, it had a setting where you could use less UI. And that's basically, in my opinion, the best way to play Breath of the Wild, with the smaller UI. I wish a lot of games would do that too. Genshin Impact would benefit a lot from something like that, but they don't have that. So you asked me if there was anything I was excited about.
Yes, I know I went for a few minutes on truck simulating.
I mean, I guess the most obvious one for me is the new Monster Hunter, which comes out next year. I don't know when your truck sim update comes out, probably sooner than Monster Hunter, but...
yeah, it's the next update, so...
So Monster Hunter Wilds looks amazing, but I could rant about that forever, so I'm looking forward to that. I will say, though, the other game that was in the state of play that seemed pretty interesting to me was I think it's called Hell Is Us.
Oh yeah.
And at first I thought this was just going to be like some weird shooter thing, but as I've watched people play it seems more like an open world kind of exploration thing. One of the people I saw playing is like, I haven't felt this kind of joy exploring since Elden Ring. It's like, wow, that's high praise. That's to me like one of my favorite genres of game, is just exploring.
So is it cheesy in any way of like, oh, Hell Is Us, like we are the monsters and stuff like that?
I mean, we barely know much of it as far as like what the game is, but it's a play on like hell is other people. Yeah. But hell is us. So we'll see.
Hell is merely a state of mind.
It's like, yeah, it's like, it kind of seems like again, kind of like Elden Ring, except with the exploration, there are some monsters, and I guess the combat is pretty melee focused. I thought it was going to be like some shooter, but it's turning out to be more like, again, to reiterate, like Elden Ring, I guess, sort of. We'll see. It's kind of early to say, but it looks interesting. So between that and Monster Hunter, I'm a big fan of the big games. I guess I know a lot of people love indie games, and I like indie games too, but if you give me a big old open world to just get lost in for hours, that's what I love.
That's fair. My only thing about the Monster Hunter, do you think you'll be able to run it in a year's time? Are you going to have to try and upgrade any of your computer bits?
I don't know. If I have to upgrade, I would have to probably upgrade the video card and the processor.
And those are usually the two most expensive things.
And like, if I do that, I'd probably have to upgrade my power supply too. I don't know, man. I hope I don't have to. I hope there's a demo. They usually put out a demo, so we'll see if my computer can handle it. It's a 2060 RTX, so it's kind of aging.
Yeah.
I don't mind playing. I don't need my game to be at 60 frames per second. I know a lot of people are sticklers about that, but I mean, I grew up playing PlayStation and N64 games. I can handle a low frame rate as long as it's not like, under 25 or so.
Well, there's the thing of having the frame rate. I would prefer a steady 30 frame rate than a frame rate of 60 that keeps going up and down.
Yeah, stuttering is annoying.
Yeah.
I used to get a lot of bad stuttering on Fallout 4 when I had it all loading off the hard disk drive, but once I got a solid state disk drive, like, stuttering seems to go away because at least everything is loading in faster.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I mean, every game is different. Like, I know Dragon's Dogma had a lot of issues with its processor because there were so many NPCs. I'm hoping that because Monster Hunter isn't as NPC driven, that hopefully it won't be as bad, but we will see.
Well, hopefully it goes better than what was the the demo I tried? I don't think it was Dragon Quest. It had some kind of...
Oh, you played that new Mana game.
Oh, Mana, yeah.
I forget what it's called.
Oh my god, I hope your demo was better than that, because holy shit.
That was really weird. And yeah, it must have been a processor thing because
it was on my solid state drive. So.
The game ran fine until combat started. Once combat started and all those calculations were going, that's when it just...
the frame rate. Bed.
Yeah. So I'm guessing it's probably the processor. And that's one thing that worries me about Monster Hunter because I don't meet the recommendations for the processor.
Yeah, that's gonna suck.
We'll see.
Sorry, sweetie.
There's a lot I'm excited for. It's just a matter of like trying it and finding time to do it. Because like I'm excited to try other fan games, Pokemon fan games. There's one called Pokemon, was it Lost Palace or Hidden Palace or Hidden Place? I forget, something like that. And it's another game where it's like not about going to the gym leaders and stuff. It's like you're some archaeologist assistant, and the adventure is based on that. And that sounds interesting to me. Like, you're digging up old stuff, and like, what kind of adventures does that entail? So,
just a quick question. Since you seem to be enjoying Ashen Frost a lot, do you ever think that maybe when you're done with this, you'll see what that person, or at least the writer, whoever it was, see if they've gone off and done
to
other
make
games?
something else? Yeah, I mean, sure. I know one of the other fan games I've played, they're making a game, and it's like on Steam. I think you can wishlist it. I don't think it's out yet. And it's like, oh, cool. They made this fan game that people really loved, and now they're making their own game on Steam, and like, that's great. So yeah, definitely. But I don't know if they are working on anything else, or if they're still finishing this. So we'll see.
Sounds good. Do you think that'll be good for this week?
I mean, this is like about an hour right now, so I'm sure it's fine.
Well, I guess we'll call it there for this week, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.